Hello, I'm Jim Ellis from the World Data Lab World Insights Competition, and you are competitors in that competition. And I would like to share a few examples that might be interesting to you to help you understand how you too can make a winning submission. And so you're going to submit something that looks like this with an explainer to it. So you'll have a slide or some text that would explain what's going on, but we've only got the visual in our help here. And in this example, a professional data scientist from the World Data Lab created this, and this is a professional level piece, so keep that in mind. But what I'm noticing is that we have a simple question that I can understand. That's going to be the 5 seconds in that 5 in 5 rule, the thing that you're most focused on as a part of making a successful submission is the 5 in 5 rule. And so we have 5 seconds and 5 minutes. For me, the 5 seconds works like this as I read this, is that it has a nice title. What are the wealthy more secure about old age? That's a curious question, and it's a relatively easy one to understand where there's wealthy and old age being compared. I can understand that. It's easy in 5 seconds to get. Then I notice there's sort of color groupings, and these color groupings make me wonder and notice what's going on inside of this graph a little bit. And so I think the scatter plot colors with the question for me is what pops in that first 5 seconds. Then the 5 minutes breaks down as I start to look at this data. And so I notice that there are an X and Y axis label here. So we have consumer class on the X-axis, and we have on the Y-axis, we have financial security. So that helps us break this down into 4 quadrants, a really classic thing to do with scatter plots. And so they're easy to read and understand what each of these 4 are trying to tell us. So the poor not worried gives me some information that I want, makes me wonder why these countries are poor and not worried and where they are and where they fit into that space. And that's this quadrant here. The wealthy and worried makes me really curious. What makes them as wealthy as they are and as worried as they are about their security? Finally, there are 2 more. I think the poor not worried makes me wonder why it's as empty as it is, but also makes me feel a little sad for the folks that are in that quadrant and how are they coming to this human condition of feeling worried and also being poor in our global society. And then I think the most interesting thing occurs here, China, United States, and Denmark. I don't know of anything where I would have grouped China, United States, and Denmark together whatsoever. And so here they are together as wealthy and not worried. And I'm curious what makes these 3 different societies so similar to each other in this particular 4-quadrant breakdown of wealthy and not worried. So this is what keeps me going for those 5 minutes, and I wonder even further beyond that, what are the other countries not listed and why? I might have improved this a little bit by adding more countries so I can see a few more examples of which countries are where on this graph, but I think that the ones that were chosen make the most sense. They're the outliers of each of the group. Japan's the outlier in this wealthy, worried group from Asia. Denmark is the European outlier, United States is the American outlier, and so on, of their quadrant anyways. And then India and China are both Asia, I get it, but they're on kind of polar opposites, which maybe is why they're listed. I would have loved a few more of those, but really this is, I think, a complex visual, not something that's impossible for you to do, but it is a hard one. You have to size each point on your scatter plot. What I think makes this relatively easy is that all of the data is between 0 and 100%. So labeling the X and Y axis and then choosing where to plot these points wouldn't take too much effort to do that. What I love about this data is that I don't have to decide what the answer is. I don't have to have a narrative or a viewpoint on the world or politics to create this. I can create a relatively even sampling of all the data and allow the reader to decide what they see for themselves. And for me, as the one curious making this project, I could wonder myself, what's going to happen when I plot out this data? So you don't need to pre-decide what the answer is going to be on any of this information here at all. Again, this is a professional's work, so keep in mind yours does not have to look like this whatsoever, but it's a good one, and I wanted to share it with you. All right, we look forward to your submissions in March, at the end of March, March 20th, I think. And yeah, you can contact us at any point if you would like our help. Just find my email or Kat's email at the World Insights Competition. We wish you the best of luck.